Good morning, students. Say your prayer. Thank you. நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்தும் முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்தும் முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். நான் ஒரு நல்ல ஆசிரியர். நான் உங்களுக்கு தாயாகவும் தந்தையாகவும் இருந்தும் முறையாக அன்போடு கல்வியை போதிப்பேன். Okay, students. So take your social science book and come to page number 263. So today we will discuss about the state legislature. So in second lesson we discussed about the parliament. So here the state legislature, that is the law making body of the states. Okay, so the parliament that make laws for the whole country. So you know there are three subjects, that is concurrent, state and union. So the parliament can make law on union subject, while the state legislature can make laws on the state subject, and also in the concurrent. So concurrent it was for both. In today's class we will discuss about the state legislature. Just recall what we discussed in our previous class. We discussed about the chief minister. So in the scheme of parliamentary system of government, the governor is the nominal executive, while chief minister is the real executive. Then who appoints the chief minister? The chief minister is appointed by the governor of the state. Then who was appointed as the chief minister? The person who have the majority support in the legislative assembly will be the chief minister. Okay, then we discussed about the powers and functions of the chief minister. First, relating to the council of ministers. So the chief minister only recommend the persons to be appointed as the minister. Then relating to the governor. So governor appoints various officials. While appointing those officials, the governor have to consult with the chief minister. Then relating to the state legislature. So chief minister advises the governor to summon or prorogue the session of the state legislature. Then he introduced the bill. Then he recommend the dissolution of the legislative assembly. Then we discussed about the council of ministers. So as per article 163, there should be a council of ministers to aid and advise the governor. Then we discussed about the functions and the powers of the council of ministers. So they formulate and decides the policies of the state. So they are in charge of the department. They are collectively responsible to the assembly. So then various powers we have discussed it in our previous class. So chief minister, then council of ministers. So today's class we will discuss about the state legislature. So the constitution provides a legislator for every state. So there are 28 states. So for every state there is a legislator. So our constitution provides a legislator for every state. So apart from the state, two union territories, that is Delhi and Puducherry. So both these have legislator. So other union territories have not that much population to have a legislator. So most of the states have only unicameral legislator. So unicameral means having single legislative body. So having single law making body. So most of the states have only unicameral legislator, that is legislative assembly only there. Some state has bicameral legislator. So only few state have bicameral. That means so they have two legislative body. So legislative assembly, then legislative council. So what are the states that have bicameral legislator? Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Initially Jammu and Kashmir also have the bicameral legislator, but now it was changed to union territory. So Jammu Kashmir was changed to union territory. So recently, so now it has no bicameral legislator. Okay, so now only the states Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. So these states only have the bicameral legislator. So remaining states have only unicameral legislator. So what are the two houses of the state legislature? So the lower house and the upper house. So the lower house is called as the legislative assembly and the upper house is called as the legislative council. So the lower house, legislative assembly, represents the people of the state. That means the members of the Legislative Assembly were directly elected by the people of the particular state. Then the upper house, Legislative Council, it represents the persons who have special interest. So the special interest persons like teachers, graduates, and local governments. So the Legislative Assembly, which is the lower house of the state legislature, represents the people of the state, while the upper house, so which is also called as Legislative Council, represents the special interest like the teachers, graduates, and local governments. First, the Legislative Assembly, also called as lower house. So the Legislative Assembly is a popular house. It is the real center of power in the state. So the Legislative Assembly is the real center of power in the state, because as like Lok Sabha, here all the laws, all the bill were mostly introduced here only. So here the members were elected directly by the people on the basis of adult franchise. So adult franchise, do you know? So we have discussed it in our first lesson itself. So those who attain a particular age have the right to vote without any discrimination, without any partiality. They were permitted to put vote. So the members were elected on the basis of adult franchise. The strength of the assembly varies from state to state depending on the population. The strength of the assembly, that is the total members of the assembly, vary from state to state depending upon the population. However, the maximum strength of the assembly must not exceed 500. So the strength of the assembly varies from state to state. But the maximum strength of the assembly must not exceed 500, and its minimum strength not be below 60. So maximum should not exceed 500 and the minimum should not be below 60. That is, the strength should be between 60 to 500. Then the term of office of the Legislative Assembly is 5 years. So the normal term of office of the Legislative Assembly is 5 years. So as like that of Lok Sabha. But it can be dissolved even before the expiry of its term. So Legislative Assembly can also be dissolved. Suppose if the assembly, the ruling party, lost its majority in the assembly, means then it should be dissolved. So before its expiry. Or sometimes if the chief minister so recommends the governor for the dissolution, means then it can be dissolved even before the expiry of its term. Then the size of the Legislative Council cannot be more than 1/3 the membership of the Legislative Assembly. So the total number of Legislative Council is 1/3 of the members of the Legislative Assembly. But its size cannot be less than 40. So its size cannot be less than 40. So the Legislative Assembly is a popular house and it is the real center of power in the state. It consists of the members directly elected by the people on the basis of adult franchise. Then the strength of the assembly varies from state to state depending upon the population. But the maximum strength must not be more than 500 and minimum strength not be below 60. Then the term of office is 5 years. But it can be dissolved even before the expiry of its term. Then the Legislative Council, so the total members is 1/3 of the membership of the Legislative Assembly. So 1/3 of the membership of the Legislative Assembly of that state, and its size cannot be less than 40. So the strength of the Legislative Council members is 1/3 of the total members of the Legislative Assembly, but it should not be less than 40. So composition. So already we know that the total members of the Legislative Assembly should not be more than 500 and should not be less than 60. So the Legislative Assembly of Tamil Nadu consists of 235 members. So the total number of seats in the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly is 235, out of which 234 members are directly elected by the people of Tamil Nadu. So the Legislative Assembly of Tamil Nadu consists of 235 members. Among these 235, 234 members were elected directly by the people from the constituencies on the basis of adult franchise. So the 234 members were elected directly by the people of Tamil Nadu on the basis of adult franchise. So from the constituencies. So Tamil Nadu was divided into 234 constituency. So and one member is nominated by the governor from the Anglo-Indian community. So one member is nominated by the governor from the Anglo-Indian community. So can you tell me how many members belonging to Anglo-Indian community nominated to the Lok Sabha by the president? Yeah, 2. Very good. So the Legislative Assembly of Tamil Nadu consists of 235 members, out of which 234 members are directly elected by the people from the constituencies on the basis of adult franchise, and one member is nominated by the governor from the Anglo-Indian community. Cabinet and Cabinet Committee. A smaller body called Cabinet is the nucleus of the Council of Ministers. So a smaller body called Cabinet, and Cabinet is the nucleus of the Council of Ministers. So nucleus means, in a biological term, so every cell have a nucleus. So the nucleus is the very important part of the cell. So there are a number of ministers in a state. So not all ministers are given equal rank. So only few ministers are given important position. So like the finance minister, then highways minister, then public works department minister, like that all. So they were considered as the cabinet. So they were considered the nucleus of council of ministers. It is the real center of authority in the state government. A small body called cabinet is the nucleus of the council of ministers. So the total strength of the ministries is the 15% of the total members. So the total strength of the ministry must be 15% of the total members of the assembly. So not all the ministers were given cabinet. Only few are given the important position. So they were considered as the nucleus of the council of ministers. It is the real center of power. The cabinet works through various committees called the cabinet committee. So the cabinet ministry works through various committees called as cabinet committee. So these cabinet committee are of two types. So standing and ad hoc. So the cabinet committee are of two types, standing and ad hoc. So the standing committee are of a permanent one, while the latter, that is ad hoc, is of a temporary one. So the cabinet, which is the important part of the council of ministers. So the cabinet forms the nucleus of the council of ministers, which works through various committees called as cabinet committee. So these cabinet committee are of two types, standing and ad hoc. So standing, so it is a permanent one, but ad hoc, it is a temporary one. Then the speaker. So the speaker is the presiding officer of the legislative assembly. So in Lok Sabha also there is a speaker. Same as like that, speaker is in the legislative assembly also. The legislative assembly elects two of its members as the speaker and the deputy speaker. So the legislative assembly elects two of its members as the speaker and deputy speaker. The speaker may be removed from office by a resolution of the assembly after giving a 14 days notice. So the speaker may be removed from office by a resolution of the assembly after giving a 14 days notice. Such a resolution must be passed by a majority of the members present at the time of voting. So such resolution, so to remove speaker, must be passed by a member of the majority. So majority of the members present at the time of voting. The speaker does not vacate his office when the assembly is dissolved. So the speaker does not vacate his office when the assembly is dissolved. He continues to be the speaker until the first sitting of the new assembly. So he continued to be the speaker until the first sitting of the new assembly. While the office of the speaker is vacant means, then the deputy speaker performs his functions. So the speaker and the deputy speaker is elected by the members of the legislative assembly. So normally the term of office is 5 years. So beyond 5 years only, because after general election also they continue to be in office till the first sitting of the newly formed assembly. Okay, so the newly formed assembly then choose the new speaker. So till that the speaker will be in the office. The speaker can be removed from the office by a resolution of the assembly after giving a 14 days notice. then such resolution must be passed by a majority of the members present at the time of voting. Yeah. And at the same time, the speaker can resign from office by submitting his resignation letter to the deputy speaker. Then the legislative council, which was also called as upper house. So the legislative council is the upper house of the state legislature. The Vidhan Parishad, so also it was in Hindi term. The Vidhan Parishad forms a part of the state legislature of India. In 6 of India's 28 states, so totally there are 28 states, but only 6 states have the legislative council, so serves as the indirectly elected upper house of the bicameral legislature. In 6 of India's 28 states, the legislative council serves as the indirectly elected upper house of a bicameral legislature. It is also a permanent house because it cannot be dissolved. So as like that of Rajya Sabha, it is a permanent house because it cannot be dissolved. Every members of legislative council, so shortly called as MLC, serves for a 6-year term. So every member serves for a 6-year term with the terms staggered. So staggered means arranged so that they do not all happen at the same time. So with the terms arranged so that the terms of 1/3 of the members expire every 2 years. So normally the term of office is 6 years. Okay, but every 1/3 of the members have to retire every 2 years. So MLC must be the citizen of India, not under 30 years of age, mentally sound, and his name should be in the voters list of the state from which he or she is contesting the election. So the qualifications. So the member must be the citizen of India, then should not below the age of years 30, mentally sound, so mentally healthy, and his name should be in the voters list of the state from which he or she is contesting the election. So the legislative council only existed in 6 states. So can you tell me the state? Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Okay, how can be the members of the legislative council elected? So legislative assembly members were elected directly by the people of the particular state. Then council, how are the members elected? So 1/3 of the members are elected by the local bodies. 1/3 of the members are elected by the local bodies, that is by the panchayat municipalities. Okay, then 1/12 of the members are elected by the graduates of the universities in the state. So 1/12 of the members are elected by the graduate of the universities in the state. Then 1/12 of the members are elected by the graduate teachers. So 1/12 of the members are elected by the graduate teachers. Then 1/3 of the members are elected by the members of the legislative assembly. So 1/3 of the members are elected by the members of the legislative assembly. Then 1/6, that is the remaining, is nominated by the governor, who is eminent in the field of literary excellence, art, social service or cooperation. So 1/6 is nominated by the governor, who is the eminent, who is well versed in the field of literary excellence, art, social service or cooperation. So like that of Rajya Sabha, so president nominate, so 12 members to Rajya Sabha, no? So like that here 1/6 members were nominated by the governor. So 1/3 by the local bodies, 1/12 by the graduates of the universities of the state, then another 1/12 by the graduate teachers, then 1/3 by the members of the legislative assembly, then 1/6 nominated by the governor. So if you calculate this means, then you will get the equal answer. Okay, then the chairman, as like that of the speaker in the legislative assembly, we have the chairman. So the presiding officer of the upper house, legislative council. Do you know who is the present speaker of Tamil Nadu legislative assembly? His name was Dhanabal. Then who was the speaker after the general elections? So that is in the year 1952. It was Sivadhanu Pillai, so which you have seen in the picture while I am teaching you about the speaker. So Sivadhanu Pillai, so the first speaker, that means the assembly which was formed after the general election conducted on the basis of our constitution. Then now present it was Dhanapal. Yeah. So the chairman is the presiding officer of the upper house. The members elect a chairman and a deputy chairman from among themselves. So in the absence of chairman, the deputy chairman officiates the functions of the legislative council. Abolition or creation of legislative council. We know that there is only 6 states have legislative council. So what happened to remaining state? So why they do not have legislative council? So Article 169 deals with the creation or abolition of legislative council in a state. So Article 169 deals with the creation or abolition of legislative council in a state. Article 169 holds that if the state legislative assembly passes a resolution by a majority of not less than 2/3 of the members present and voting, and by the majority of the total strength of the house, requesting the Parliament to create or abolish the state legislature council, then the Parliament may by law provide for the abolition and creation of the legislative council. So as per Article 169, a state legislator can request the Parliament to create or abolish the legislative council. But the resolution must be supported by the majority of the members of the respective state assembly. So that is 2/3 of the members should be present and vote. So they send the resolution to the Parliament, and on the basis of the Parliament and on the basis of the resolution, the Parliament may create or abolish the state legislative council. So Tamil Nadu Legislative Council was abolished by the Tamil Nadu Legislative Council Abolition Bill, passed in the year 1986. So the act came into force on the 1st November 1986. So from that year onwards, so Tamil Nadu have only unicameral legislature. So there is no legislative council. Okay, so Article 169 deals with the creation or abolition of the legislative council in a state. Then the functions of the state legislature. So the state legislature consists of 2 houses. So what are they? Legislative assembly, then legislative council. So members of the legislative council were elected not directly by the people of the particular state. So how was the election conducted? So the members were elected, 1/3 were elected by the local bodies, then 1/12 by the graduates, then remaining 1/12 by the graduate teachers, then 1/3 by the members of the legislative assembly, then 1/6 nominated by the governor. So the functions of the state legislature can be studied under 3 headings. So legislative power, financial power, then control over the executive. Then the legislative council, which was also called as upper house. So the legislative council is the upper house of the state legislature. The Vidhan Parishad, so also it was in Hindi term. The Vidhan Parishad forms a part of the state legislature of India in 6 of India's 28 states. So totally there are 28 states, but only 6 states have the legislative council. So serves as the indirectly elected upper house of the bicameral legislature. In 6 of India's 28 states, the legislative council serves as the indirectly elected upper house of a bicameral legislature. It is also a permanent house because it cannot be dissolved. So as like that of Rajya Sabha, it is a permanent house because it cannot be dissolved. Every members of legislative council, so shortly called as MLC, serves for a 6-year term. So every member serves for a 6-year term with the terms staggered. So staggered means arranged so that they do not all happen at the same time. So with the terms arranged so that the terms of 1/3 of the members expire every 2 years. So normally the term of office is 6 years. Okay, but every 1/3 of the members have to retire every 2 years. So MLC must be the citizen of India, not under 30 years of age, mentally sound, and his name should be in the voters list of the state from which he or she is contesting the election. So the qualifications. So the member must be the citizen of India, then should not below the age of years 30, mentally sound, so mentally healthy, and his name should be in the voters list of the state from which he or she is contesting the election. So the legislative council only existed in 6 states. So can you tell me the state? Bihar, Karnataka, Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Then financial power. So the legislator controls the finance of the state. So the legislator controls the finance of the state. The lower house enjoys the greater power than the upper house in money matters. So the lower house enjoys greater power than the upper house in money matter. That is, the legislative assembly enjoy more power than legislative council. The money bills can be introduced only in the lower house or the assembly. Money bill in this union government. So money bill, where it was introduced? Yeah, only in the Lok Sabha, not in Rajya Sabha. So same procedure. So money bill can be introduced only in state legislative assembly, not in state legislative council. No new tax can be levied. So no new tax can be imposed without the sanction and permission of the assembly. So without permission of the assembly, no new tax can be imposed. Okay. Then controls over the executive. So the council of ministers is responsible to the assembly. So the council of ministers is responsible to the assembly. So the ministers have to answer the questions asked by the members of the legislature. So the council of ministers responsible to the assembly. The ministers have to answer the questions asked by the members of the legislature. They can be removed from office if the assembly passes a vote of no confidence motion against the ministry. So the council of ministers can be removed from office if the assembly passes a vote of no confidence motion against the ministry. So the no confidence motion, so maybe passed against a single minister or against the group of, that is the council of ministers. So whatever it may be, if the no confidence motion was passed means, then the ministry have to resign, and they have to face the fresh election. Okay students, so today's class we discussed about the state legislature. So from this class you have understand the difference between the parliament and also the state legislature. So the state legislature, so all the state does not have the single house. So only few states, that is 6 states have the bicameral legislature. So legislative assembly, then legislative council. So you have learned about how the members were elected, then the composition, and also the functions of the state legislature. So we have completed today's class. So today's textbook reading. Take page number 264. Read the functions of the state legislature. So the 3 heading. So that is your textbook reading. Then homework. Take page number 268. Answer in detail. What are the powers and functions of the chief minister? So take page number 262. See the heading, powers and functions of the chief minister. So relating to the council of ministers, relating to the governor, then relating to state legislature. So relating to the council of ministers, you write any 3 point. But relating to the governor, you have to write all the point. Then relating to the state legislature also write any 3 point. Okay, ma? So complete your homework. So do it properly. So listen the classes which we have discussed previously. So especially the second lesson in civics. So often hear it. Because second lesson, third lesson, so often it may confuse you. Because that deals with central government and it deals with the state government. So almost many factors are equal only. Especially the election process and also the qualification. So don't confuse it. And also the powers. So the powers and functions. So often hear the class and often read it. So thank you. Have a nice day.